What is going on, everyone? Dan here again with another episode of your newsletter for Tech Marketer. So, thank you again for the awesome feedback from last week. I walked you through using conditional logic inside of Gravity Forms. Well, had plenty of agents reach out and say that they also use JotForm and they would like to see how the conditional logic works inside of there as well. So, here we are inside of JotForm. This is a form. I literally just started building this form here. It will end up being a service request form. I'm also testing out the card feature as opposed to showing it all on one page, doing the card thing as well. So I'll walk you through what that looks like also here. So very simple, right? Everything that you would need right out of the gate: name, email, phone number. I have all of those, and I always require those. Especially with connecting to Agency Zoom, so you can actually create that service ticket inside of Agency Zoom, and it will tie to the correct person. So as far as making it required goes, it's very simple. If you just click on the field and then properties, right down here, required. Very, very easy. Super, super simple to make it required. So I go through here: name, email, phone number. I'm going to do two different service request forms, one for personal lines, one for commercial lines. So this is what I've got so far for the personal lines. Here's just a handful of options here: add, remove additional insured, coverage, driver, vehicle, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So all of those in there. And then when the user selects a specific option out of there, they're going to get conditions based off of what they selected. So what I have built so far is adding or removing the additional insured, and then the fields that need to go with it here. So which policy should it be associated to? How should they appear? So let's take a look at what this looks like, how your clients will see it. So if I just go up here into preview form, I can actually see it, and it's pretty cool. So if I go ahead and hit start, and I just start populating some information and clicking through all of the required fields here. All right, cool. So now I'm at this drop down. And one thing I want to point out is if you look down here, it's actually got the bar going through, kind of keeping track of the steps, right? So how many steps are there going to be? Well, it's going to change based on what you are doing next. So if I want to add or remove an additional insured, boom, you see it's 5, and it knows that there's going to be another one, but we have to figure out what that's going to be. So are you adding or removing? Let's say I'm adding. Boom, it created 2 more steps down here. What policy should the additional should be added to? We're going to say my fake ABC 123456 policy. And how should they appear on the policy, right? So their name, if it's a mortgagee clause, whatever. And then same thing if I'm removing them. Again, what's the name of the additional insured you want to remove? So I'm still hitting next, but it's a very different question based on the conditional logic. Now, how do you do that? I'll show you. So let's go out of preview. We come up here into settings now that we're in the main screen. Come over here into conditions. And this is where it can get kind of fun. So the first condition that I have is, what type of personal lines request would you like to make? If that is equal to add or remove an additional insured, then what I want it to do is to show, are you adding or removing an additional insured? Pretty straightforward, right? Then I created another condition. Several conditions actually. So if I have, are you adding or removing an additional insured is adding, then I want it to show multiple fields. I want it to show what policy they be added to, and how should they appear on the policy, right? That's how I got those separate questions added on there. And same thing on if it's equal to removing, right? So same question, if it's, are you adding or removing, is equal to removing, and you can come in here and you can select any of your options, and then is equal to, not equal to, empty filled. So there's a bunch of different things you can do. And then the value is based off of what you've already put in there. So adding or removing are the only 2 options that I have. So are you adding or removing an additional insured? Removing it. If that is the value, then I want you, again, to show multiple of the name of the additional insured and what policy they're currently listed on, so I know where to go to remove them from. So you can do hide or show singular or hide or show multiple. So what this will look like once it's all said and done, and what you're probably gathering from this as well, is you have to go through and build the questions out, and so that you can come into the conditions and say, show this, hide that, based on the values. But I do that one question at a time so that there's not 100 questions to select from. So I come in here, are you adding or removing additional insured? Boom, I have all the questions that are going to be if you're adding or removing it. I have all of the info that I need, and then I'm going to move on to the next thing, which will be, what would that be? Coverage? Yeah, adding or removing coverage, right? So it'll be the same thing. Are you adding, if what personal lines request are you requesting is equal to add or remove coverage, then show the fields that I create. Are you adding or removing? If adding, then show these. If removing, then show these. So kind of threw a little bit at you on that one, but it is very, very straightforward. I do like JotForms from a visual standpoint better. Like I said, I know that WordPress and Gravity Forms is more powerful, but that's not to talk bad on JotForm. I think that they have a tremendous, tremendous product here, and it's incredibly, incredibly easy to use. So as usual, if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. I'm more than happy to take requests on what you want to see in this newsletter. This newsletter belongs to you guys, not to me. So you let me know what you want to see, and I'll make it happen. Talk to you guys next week.